Hi, I'm Ketriana Yvonne, and welcome to the Ketriana Yvonne Variety Show. Today's guest, we have Chandra Barrage and Ronnie Barrage, and he's going to start out as our musical guest. Take it.
La 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 la. People la la. Black am I, with a soul that's home to eternity. Beyond earth and floors my feet stand upon, a soul that's worthy of its keep. Black with wool to stand under the sun-flattened nostrils, to fill good lungs with drafts of air, to flute sweet songs. Yeah, 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 ga la la la. Ooh, yeah, 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 da 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 da. In spite of tars, feathered and fury of hate, in spite of chains that attach to the barrel's fate, ancestral rivers still inundate from black mother's womb. I come strong and beauteous as a jungle lion. Shamelessly, I carry my load of life as nonchalantly as a weighted elephant. I am filled with the soul and the strength of the deep black earth. I am willed to the world as God's only black man. It's God's only black man. It's God's only black man.
Can you tell us about your instrument and your music?
Yes, first, Ketriana, thank you for having us here today.
You're welcome.
This is a Udu drum from the Igbo people of Nigeria. It was first a water drum, a ceremonial drum used by the women for certain festivities, and then they put another hole here to make it an instrument. And it's widely used in world music, jazz music. It's a beautiful instrument. And you notice the cymbal.
Yes. Yes. I'm drawn to the cymbal.
Yeah? Why is that?
Because I'm an Obama fellow.
Woo!
And I know that cymbal well. So, and I just thought, I was relating it. I was trying to figure out if it was actually, I didn't think, but you told me it is the Obama symbol. And I was thinking maybe it was just something related to it.
No, when the brother from Nigeria, when he made this drum specifically for me, it was during the time we were all...
Oh, okay. Yes, we can. And yes, we
did.
did. And
I
wish we could again.
Absolutely. Right now, we need it.
So.
But, also, my wife did extensive work on that campaign, Chandra.
Okay. The art, what's the symbol? Can you turn that around?
This one here?
Yes, what's that?
I believe that's a salamander. I think this is his brand for his drum. His name is Joe Agu, actually, and he makes these drums. Okay. His company is called Rhythms.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing. Starting out our show. Can you feel it, people? Because I do. The poetry, it also reminds me, I have a piece called Water is Life.
Okay.
And I'm sure, I don't know, but everything relates to water, which is life. And I'm sure even if we did some research.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to you. I just want to say that this is Chandra, and she is a professor at Medgar Evers for geography, and she's going to talk about a nonprofit that herself and her husband has. So can you tell us about that and who you are and what you want us to know?
Well, sure. Yes, my name is Chandra Barrage, and I currently teach at Medgar Evers College. I'm a geographer, and I'm also, my husband and I have organized this organization called the World Rhythm Academy.
Okay.
So right now we're working in Brownsville, Brooklyn. That's where we live. And since I'm a geographer, I'm a scientist, a hardcore, nerdy, geek scientist. And so he's the artist, and we bridge our passions together to inspire our communities to be humanitarians, to fight for social justice.
And environmental justice.
Yeah, and environmental justice, especially. We have to take care of our world. The world is, as we can tell, the world is changing. Our climate's changing. Our environments are changing. So we really we incorporate a lot of those themes into our curriculum, but we have to use the art. So we use a lot of music, dance, poetry, a lot of what Ronnie just gave you. We incorporate that into our lessons.
Okay, great, wonderful. And I met these two at a jazz function, and Ronnie was one of the jazz musicians, and he had a song dedicated to his wife. So that's why, and they do everything together. So I don't know if she's gonna start singing in a minute. I don't know.
You don't want that.
Okay, so he's the musician, and and you've been in New York for
recently a year and a half. We returned. Well, he returned. We came together a year and a half ago. We were both at Penn State University, teaching and finishing up some school.
Okay.
And so we're here.
Okay, so what did you teach?
Oh, at Penn State I taught hip hop music and culture.
Really?
I did.
Okay, so talk a little bit about that.
I taught that course for about 8 or 9 years. And basically all of the courses that I teach, I'm at Old Westbury now, SUNY Old Westbury. But all of the courses there, American history is told through the music.
Right.
So I'm primarily a jazz musician. I'm deeply based in jazz and blues and spiritual music. But the hip hop music and culture course is a very popular course. I taught it for African American Studies department. Now at Old Westbury, I teach the history of jazz and music of global cultures. And it's interesting because, as I said, teaching American history and through the music, it gives the students another perspective, but it covers everything that they don't get in elementary or middle school or high school. And it brings us up to what we're going through right now. If they had a little bit more education, if our population had more education, we wouldn't be where we are right now. We'd make better decisions.
Okay.
But,
So how do you think that we can better educate them as far as
Tell the truth.
Okay.
About everything.
So speak on, tell some truth, because we tell the truth on this show. We're truth tellers.
You got to talk about the Native American culture. You got to talk about the fact that there would be no American wealth without the slave industry. I mean, we wouldn't have, and when you look at the music, we wouldn't have any jazz if it wasn't for slavery. It's an American indigenous it's an American art form, and it's a classical music art form that came out of the struggle here. So there's a lot of truth, and we don't have time to get into it. I hope you invite us back.
I usually say that part. But yes, okay. Well, it's about giving a little bit of information, and then for people to go out and find the truth, because you're on the internet and it's available. And we have people in our society in Brooklyn that are instructors and teachers, and have nonprofits, and to help. So let's talk about the nonprofit a little bit more, and what you take. I know you said earlier you do. Go ahead.
I'll just tell you. So speaking of truth, we were just talking to your guest Naturall earlier about inspiring the youth. So we have a geo arts program, and so bridging that geography with the arts. Lots of our kids, our young people, are really into Jordans, for instance. They really want their Jordans. And he was talking about his daughter. He wants to take her overseas. He's like, should I get her a passport? He asked her, does she want a passport or the Jordans? So they're making that decision now, what's more important. So going back to the truth, if you understand the Michael Jordans, the shoes, and not just look at them as a material as something you wear and style around in, that there's labor behind it, there's profits behind it, there's environmental destruction behind it, and it's okay to have your Jordans. We're not knocking Jordans. We have Samsung phones, we have Apple phones that we use religiously, we have to have those. But there's a lot of issues that are surrounded, that surrounds those materials. And so just like embedding that truth into our youth, into our communities, so we can make decisions, deeper than just like, I just got to have this now. So that's part of one of the programs that we have, the Geo Arts program. We're working with Brownsville Collaborative Middle School right now with some middle schoolers, and we are taking them around the world virtually right now. Our goal is to take them around the world, literally around the world. See places like Berlin and Lagos and in Beijing. And so we're just exposing them through the arts. We're bringing people to them that have been around the world, that have done a lot of different things, and that's our goal. And we're starting little by little, but we have a really huge vision. And we're just trying to make it happen.
And you have a website for that?
Yes.
And well, we'll have that on, and we can find out more and support this achievement that is going to happen. And so, what else do you want us to know? You two met in Pennsylvania?
At Penn State, right. We had a wonderful mom tape. She was putting us together years before we even knew it. And it was a crazy thing at our church, Unity Church of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Next thing we know, she had us for dinner, and then we got married.
And 5 months later.
And we have, I was telling, actually, World Rhythm Academy used to be World Rhythm University from years ago, a concept I had where it was almost the reverse, where I was taking a set of musicians from around the world to different places to do workshops for, at-risk youth or But then meeting Chandra and putting our passions together, it made more sense to affect the youth first and, do it the opposite way. So it's definitely something that I think God had planned for us, because we started looking for places to live, and he put us right in Brownsville, and things started falling in place. I lived in Brownsville back in 1979, and it was totally different. So it was, it's time for us to do this. The other thing, too, is we're looking at the sanitation issues and things like that, so we want to take them, like Spain, they have this program where everybody is invested in recycling and cleaning up the neighborhood, just to show them how other people live, so that they can have another train of thought, And we want the children to police the neighborhood,
And not only that, to be aware of how much we contribute to the waste in our society. I know when I visited San Francisco, like just the community people, they had like where they would put together 20 minutes a day just to clean the beach.
Right.
They can't smoke there, so they would have cigarette butts. And, you take it amongst yourself. And climate change, we have to talk about climate change because we have people in power that don't think it exists, when every day, every example is right there. And so that's important, and we need to be more conscious of what we use, the plastic, it's so many things that affect us. Like, I'm a poet. I wrote it was a contest for, the pods, the coffee pods. Now, you wouldn't even think. Even that's an issue for some country somewhere. So, just be a little conscious of the things we use and how you contribute and how you can give back and save our world. Because this is all we have left, and it's up to us. And it's interesting because I also wrote a piece the other day when you was mentioning, it was like a 13-word, no, maybe it was 30 words. And I was about Native Americans, how they respected the environment and how we're all connected, and how it was certain words you had to use. And so I'm using these words and I'm making my point. And it was actually someone who didn't agree because they said it was Hollywood, and that, I'm thinking, well, maybe they thought, well, obviously I knew I was correct. But anyway, that was just kind of interesting, like the difference in people's opinion when it comes to, I actually watched a documentary, and it was one of the chiefs, and he was talking about, like, I had never even thought about it. and it was about when you tear down trees and you plant them somewhere else. You think, well, we would think that, okay, well, we're not really destroying anything. But they were saying that that's the plants that come from, you know, around, that have been there. And that was how the animals would heal themselves. Exactly. And that was actually how they learned the medicines to heal themselves. And it's like, really? I didn't know that. So,
and exactly, that whole concept of cutting down a tree, you're uprooting a family. You're destroying a family. Exactly. You're taking them apart.
And we wonder why we have deers, like, where, like, in the supermarket or all these, because we're taking over their homes to build what? Luxury high rises? So,
and malls.
Yeah. So
I call
anyway,
it gentrifying the natural land. We've like gone and taken over, you know, and they have no place to go.
Yeah, and I think recently, I know in Pennsylvania, you know, they have the preserves, so you can't. Well, even that, I think there was a vote recently, and I'm just like, really? So they're gonna start, and that's just like the beginning of the end. You know, where you start with little pieces. It's for example in New York, in the projects they had the land lease, where you took away the garden or the playground to have income coming. Okay. Don't believe it, people. It's not true.
Absolutely.
It's the beginning. It's a way in. It's a way to further okay, let me not get excited. No, it's a way to further destroy what is there. And think about it. You're gonna take away a garden to put a building. Okay, let's not. So anyway, I think at this moment I feel like I need I need some healing. I need some music.
That's what it's there for.
It gets a little overwhelming. It does. I think it is about being conscious, because I am awake, and I'm not saying that other people are not, but I want to speak to the youth, and listen to the people that I have on my show. They're all guides to open up your world, to provide you a better tomorrow, and we can't do that if you don't know what time it is. Right. Okay. Right. So don't worry about the next Sony, okay? Right. Because that Sony might be killing, it might be okay, I'm getting a little...
That's okay. We understand. People should be passionate about the things. Those so many products affect lives and communities and nations and neighborhoods. Yeah. Right? Speaking of neighborhoods, I think I would be remiss if I wouldn't give thanks to the fact that we are in Brownsville, and it's a wonderful cultural hub. We've been blessed to have beautiful people in our lives, Renee Muir at BMS, and a lot of the artists that we met, and Three Black Cats, Iona and her sisters and all of them. It's been great being there, and the support we have, the Mother Gaston Cultural House.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So I did some performances there, and we're partnering to do some things. So, and the Brooklyn Collaborative, the principal over there, Mr. Jackson he's amazing. He's doing a wonderful job. Okay. So we want to give thanks to that too. Yes.
Yeah, and I usually I have spoken about Brownsville Heritage Center several times, and they also have. I think it's once a month. You can look it up online. It's a gentleman named Omni, and it's like a Pan-American kind of come together once a month. And, it's musicians, it's poets, and it's, learning about your culture. I think I went, and we actually played like the first African game, had good conversation. Right. Yeah. And so anyway, these are things that are going on in the neighborhood. And, the guests that I have on my show are people that are doing things for the betterment of the communities. So take advantage of it. Take a time, 5 minutes, instead of watching a musical video maybe, and just do some research of some things going on in the neighborhood and take advantage of it, okay? So what other, I know you play the drums, and what other instruments?
Multi-percussion, a lot of different percussion and keyboards. I actually have a tour coming up with one of my bands called Holographic Principle.
Okay.
It's an international trio. The keyboardist is from Poland. He's coming over in about a week. My bass player is from Philadelphia, and we travel around doing.
Wow.
So
how usually? I mean, you travel as a musician, and so did you meet the one from Poland?
I met him in Poland. Actually,
Okay.
I did a recording that is now like one of the jazz classics over there.
Which one is that?
With the great. It's called Able to Listen. It's by a Polish bass player who was a good friend of mine. He passed away of cancer at a young age. But the recording has three, jazz players, myself, Gary Thomas on saxophone, and a pianist named Dave Kakowski. So I helped him produce that record. He brought us over. And all of the young musicians, like over here, they study Miles. And the Polish musician, they study Miles too. But this record is one of the classic records that they study. So this young pianist invited me over to do the music from that recording. And he learned the vocabulary of jazz from listening to that record, and we hit it off. So we started this band. I was just in Poland in November. He was over here last June. We go back and forth. And, I do other things with other bands, too. I was just in China with my band, playing at the Blue Note in Beijing. But,
the Blue Note in Beijing.
Right.
Okay. I've been to the one here. I've been to
they're
the one in
franchise,
D.C.
So they're pretty much everywhere. They're growing everywhere. We played this was their 1 year anniversary. The night I was there. So
okay,
the two
great.
nights I was there.
Yeah. So how about blues? Do you do any blues?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I'm a big blues fan.
Okay.
Opening song to my show is Stand Up, and that's actually, I don't know if you ever heard of her, but her name is Grenade Louise.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I said, I need something, so when you hear my show, when it comes on, that's Grenade Louise, who was from Chicago, or at least she was born in Ohio, but who is now living in Europe.
Okay,
And actually, she went to Europe to, actually, I met her on a blues cruise, back in 2001, and then she told me she wanted to leave the country, and she was going to move to Italy, so it ended up being Paris, and she moved there. They opened a blues club, and I guess now she's doing other things, but
I think my uncle has mentioned her. My uncle's a trumpeter. He lives in Paris. So I think he did some gigs with her. Over there.
So, but we have you two here. So stay stable a little while before you take off to Europe, okay?
No, I'm not moving to Europe. I'm not moving. I love Europe to go work, but I don't want to live there.
Okay, great. So you feeling another sound?
Oh, absolutely. Sure, I could do something to take us out.
Okay, so that would be wonderful.
Okay. Spa ba be ba ba da, bo de, ba da, le, ba da be ba ba da, bo do, bo de la da. Pa 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 po do pi ba da da po de bo do la da ba da pi ba da da po de bo do la da ta 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 pa bo da da ya. La da, bo do, le da da da, bo de, la ya, bo do, he da da da, bo de, bo, ba da, bi ba da da, bo de, ba ba da. Ba be da da da, bo do, bo de, la, ba be da da da, bo do, bo de, da da. Wow, thank you. That was Chandra. That was the piece you heard at the
But you didn't
concert
say.
for Shonda.
But you said her name. I think the first time. No. Or you just said it was for her.
No, this is the song I wrote for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm just remembering. Well, maybe that's what you did. Okay.
There were 5 other,
So you heard all of the
there was
chords
a lot
and
of
the bass
jazz
and
going on.
somebody
Right.
else doing the melody
Yeah.
and all of that
But
stuff.
I do. Well, as you can tell from the TV, you look at her and you look at each other. I mean. I mean, it's like a love that's like radiating, and this is February, and it's all about love. Well, it will be February. So I just want to bring that up because it's like they're bouncing, the energy here, and that's what it's all about. So I congratulate you on,
thank you,
what was
thank
the
you.
lady's name that brought you together?
Oh, Mom Tate.
Mom
Jean
Tate.
Yeah.
Mom Tate. Okay. You knew what you was doing. Okay.
Imogene Tate.
Imogene
That's her whole
Tate,
name.
right.
Is she still with you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
she's still with us.
Take a bow.
She's the matchmaker.
Okay. You knew what you was doing. You worked some magic that you already saw. Okay. So thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. She worked on it like 4 years. We didn't have a clue. It's funny.
You didn't have a clue. 4 years.
Yeah. She called me one Friday night. She's like, "Girl, what you doing?" I said, "I'm about to go to eat with my friends." She's like, "Well, I cooked dinner. I have macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, with collard greens. You have to come over and eat." Oh, and Ronnie's here too.
Mm-hmm. So when she said Ronnie's here too, what did
I was
you?
like, okay.
Yeah,
What's
she
this
did.
about? I was thinking about the macaroni and cheese, the fried chicken.
Come on now.
Right, it worked. That's all. And I was like, oh, you're kind of nice. Yeah, it worked.
Okay.
You know what? Can I say that we have a project we're working on for coming up at the end of February. We're doing a tribute to W.E.B. Du Bois.
Okay.
With my uncle Roger Green, who was the assemblyman in Brooklyn for some time.
Okay, great.
And we have a number of great artists scheduled. We haven't secured a venue, so if anybody's looking out there that has a venue that our non-for-profit can utilize, we really appreciate it.
But we post all of our events on the website.
Yeah, we do.
So, worldrhythmacademy.org.
Okay. Great. Well, that's, I'm sure, going to be wonderful. And you're going to play at that event with...
I'm going to play at that event with I think I'm trying to secure some of the singers at our church, at Emmanuel Baptist Church, to do some more of my spiritual music. But we also have, we're hoping to have the Ethnic Heritage Ensemble. It's a wonderful jazz group. They're celebrating their 45th year together.
Wow, okay.
And some poets coming up too, as well.
Okay. I hear you. Poet over here? No. Okay. So I'm not sure exactly where we are with time, but I know I have a guest here that has another similar, Naturall Langdon. He's also here, and we're going to introduce him in a couple of minutes. Because my guest here has another engagement,
right?
And I don't want to keep him. But I'm gonna ask, can he do a little just to close this out, and with something else?
Okay, sure. Incidentally, I'm playing today at the Clement Arboreal Center, and it's Music for Compassion series.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you. Did you have more that you want to tell?
No,
or,
this is good. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, I gave you a glimpse of what there is to see. She's going to provide the world. So you have to check out the website. and so you can travel virtually. You can go anywhere you want. So that's what that's about. And he just took us around the world with the music. And like I said, I don't want him to be late for his next engagement. So I thank you. And we're going to take a break and come back with Naturall Langdon, another world traveler and filmmaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Ketriana.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Ketriana Yvonne, and welcome to the show. Today's guest is Naturall Langdon,
Yes.
and he was a previous guest, and he's back. And since that time, he's been around the world, and he's going to share all his travels, his awards, his brand new book, and everything that's to come. So welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So tell us, where do you want to start? You were here last year,
Right.
and
right.
you were in the exhibit at Empire,
Right.
just about to graduate.
Right, right.
And I've been following you.
Right.
Like I said, it's like I haven't traveled that much this year, but I have traveled all over the world just watching him. I'm living life through him. Okay, so he's going to share because when I say adventures, he has had them. So
Thank you. Yeah. When I was here last time, I was just graduating from Empire State College, and that was a wonderful accomplishment for me. And shortly after, I went to 7 countries in 2017, and I started off in Morocco, and I ended in Egypt. And in between that, I went over to Asia. I went to Vietnam. I went to Seoul, Korea, Japan. I went to Portugal. So I'm just moving around, and exploring life and really, going to the people and connecting and shooting music videos. So I was able to shoot a music video in Cuba. Just recently, I shot a music video in Morocco. And just a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I was in Egypt and shot a music video, and also went for comedic yoga. I became a comedic yoga instructor. So I'm just living my life, out loud. I also have my book, Exploring the African Diaspora, which will be coming out. I'm self-publishing, and I'm trying to find a way to make it affordable and available to everybody. So I'm working on those details right now because I want people to see that whether you're in Bahia, Brazil, whether you're in Haiti, whether you're in Thailand, there's people that look like you there. There's people that resonate with you there. There's people that love you there. So I'm trying to put that out to the people and, make the connections.
Okay. So you traveled all these places,
Yes.
from Morocco
Yes.
to Portugal to
Yes.
Korea.
Yes.
So did you see any common themes? Like, I mean, I know I heard you before and you spoke of the common theme in some places, I think, was just the love of people.
Right.
But
right.
as far as like the arts or history, did you see any common traditions or
Definitely.
like,
Definitely.
it's just like, I guess culture or language. It may be different, but it's the same meaning.
Right.
Did you find that to be true? Or?
I found a lot of similarities, a lot of differences. Some of the similarities, especially what resonated with me, was just hip hop. How hip hop has everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying? I walk in a spot, and so most of the time I'm the only black one or one that look like me. Saying Asia and Vietnam, and everybody's rocking Cardi B. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, wait, what is this? And also, reggae and different things that's a part of our culture. When I say our culture, I mean, the African American culture, but also making a connection to the African culture because the same musical tones and sounds are being played there. Instruments, and there's a connection through the music. But then you go to Asia, and you see that they've incorporated, or we have incorporated, their music in ours, and they have incorporated ours in theirs. So there's a connection between all of us on a musical level, right? And I realized that creates a kind of love language, a love bond, But the biggest thing I've seen too was just my trip in Egypt recently, where a lot of things were demystified to me, because a lot of times they try to make you think that you did not create what was on these walls. And I got a chance to see myself on the walls and people that look like you as well, you know, and know that, you know, like, yo, we created the cradle of civilization. And I always knew that, you know, just from my studies and being able to read and talk to different people, but being there in Kemet, you know, being there in Egypt allowed me to see that no aliens didn't make this, no slaves and all the stuff. Like, we made this, you know, and for it to be living and up today, for you to be there is amazing. So that made me decide I wanted to bring people with me this time around. So I decided to start doing tours. And my first tour would be to Egypt, to Kemet, you know, and just being in the pyramids, you know, and the Merkuts, having a spiritual connection. And I'm like, wait, people got to feel this, you know. And I tried to show it through the different documenting I'm doing, but I'm like, no, people need to feel this in real life, you know, and have that connection for themselves.
Right. Well, I wasn't there. I was only connected through the visions and the photos and the video.
Right.
But
well, you were there with me then.
I was there because he was like illuminating. And I mean, I don't know if that's like, it was the one picture you in front of the pyramid.
Right.
Like where you were like, I don't know if that's like Photoshop.
Oh, that wasn't Photoshop. What it was is the perspective. So it's the angle that you shoot the picture, and then when you jump, right, it creates a optical illusion, right?
Yeah.
So this was like way before Photoshop type stuff, you know, you could still have these effects.
Yeah. So it's been amazing. You know, he had, I don't know if he's also won several, what'd you say, 12 or 7, I don't know.
I won a lot of.
He won a lot of awards.
I won a lot of awards this year. I'm blessed.
And there's the Cuban lady. It's not in this.
Yes,
is it in this book?
Yes. It's not in this book. This book is primarily, it's exclusively in Bahia, Brazil.
Exploring.
Exploring the African diaspora, right? And but no, I did win a photo with Cuban woman smoking, right? And it just shows the beauty and the richness of the Cuban culture, right? Which is also part of the African culture. And this is the thing I found in the, and this is why I say exploring the African diaspora. When I find, you know, black people, melanated people, you know, people of African descent, I find the connection in a spiritual way as well. Like, that we don't even know. Some people might call it, you know, being sanctified or candomblé or this or that or the other, whatever name you want to use for it, right? There is a innate spiritual connection. Yeah. And also there's a connection because of, you know, slavery and oppression and, you know, being disfranchised and, you know, being discarded and all of the isms that happen to us, you know, a lot of things happen to us. And this is the thing I love. We still stand. Exactly. We stand strong. We're creative, you know, and I realize that all we want is love, respect, you know, and sometimes for people to just honor us, right? Just to say like, yo, you're a good person. But then I realize universally, that's all people really want. You know, some people think they want money and all these other things, a car, and like at the end of the day, when all that stuff is stripped, or when you have all those things, right, that doesn't fill you up, right? So we're looking for things that really fill us, and that's the things I'm looking for, and talking to people, and you know, building with them about, you know, and sometimes I don't even speak the language, but I'm invited into their homes, I'm eating the food, you know, I stay at their house, you know, but I break bread too. Like when I go somewhere, I try to have a suitcase full of clothes or just something to contribute, right? And a lot of times I don't have money per se, right? But I bring so many other things to the table. And another thing I do is make the music videos for the artists and connect with them like that. So I'm just saying there's so many things you could do beyond having money.
Exactly.
In order to contribute. And I feel like, you know, I didn't have to go halfway around the world or all the way around the world to do that. I also do that in my neighborhoods, you know, and with the people I deal with on a daily basis. You know, it started there. And now I'm traveling around the world and, you know, receiving that type of love and exchange, you know, cultural exchange.
So when you go there, do you initially know, like, the people that you met them before?
No.
And you just go?
Yeah, most of the time I don't know anyone.
But when you leave, you know a lot of people.
Oh, when I'm leaving, I know a lot of people. Like, once I leave there, but going there, most of the time, I don't know anyone. Sometimes I make a connection with some people through the internet, through social media. I, like, say, for instance, in Bahia, Brazil, I knew the artist because I was looking for artists. I knew I wanted to go out there. I knew I wanted to shoot a video. And I was trying to find the right music that make the connection. And I looked up on SoundCloud and I looked up on Facebook and I connected with the artist. And the cool thing was we were able to communicate freely through the internet. But once we got together in person, we're both all just looking at each other. And we can't speak each other's language, so it's odd, you know? But we found a way to get over that and knock the video out and, you know, collaborate, and even the music video became an international success.
Wow.
We won international awards, both here in the States and overseas in Bahia, Brazil. So, or
Hear
in
that,
Brazil,
people?
yeah. I mean, look, I move through my spirit, you know. When the creator tell me to do something, I don't try to second guess things and all that stuff. I get up, I find a way, and just know this: when you're ready to do something, there will be a way. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be, you know, obstacles. There's going to be all these things in place, right? But if you're willing to take those steps, then you start off not knowing anybody, and then everybody that needs you and you need them, they come to you. You know, you connect and you make great things happen. You know, but you got to get past your fears. You got to get past your own insecurities, right? You know, a lot of times I have to check myself and be like, look, you know, yeah, you're going up in a hot air balloon, you're afraid because, you know, heights are challenging for me. But I say, you know what, do it afraid, right? Do it afraid. Like, the creator didn't send me all the way there to die. I don't believe that. And if I did, right, then I still did it my way. I'm good with that, you know? So my biggest thing to people is like, yo, don't be in your own way. You think it, try it, do it, you know? Make some adjustments, because it might not work out the way you want, but it will work out.
It'll work out. And whatever the obstacle or whatever, that'll be a tool to help you in the future to make it better.
That's right.
But,
tweak
you know,
it.
he's speaking the words of somebody that knows, because he is definitely leading life through his spirit.
Yeah,
and
sure.
That's what you have to do. You're touched. There's a voice. Sometimes it's silence, and you have to hear it. And sometimes you have to be still enough so that you can hear.
That's important.
You know, because right now everybody's busy. They're doing all these things, but nobody's listening.
Yeah.
You have to listen to your spirit, ask for guidance, and it'll take you where you're supposed to be.
Totally.
So, like I said, I've traveled all over the world with him.
Thank you.
And air, I mean, I feel like I was on the air balloon.
Yeah.
I mean, the hot air balloon. I'm like, okay, so I'm ready to do that again.
Yeah.
I'm ready to ride the camels.
Yeah, oh, that was amazing.
And you was even in, I think in Thailand or.
All in Thailand with the elephants. Yeah.
Come
Tigers.
on now.
Yeah.
And he has like, you know, I'm showing them on the show, but amazing pictures, just like touching a tiger, a beautiful tiger at that. And, you know, and I'm looking at the cover of your book and the outfits, you know, because I was just involved in a fashion show, which was Indonesian windows. And, you know, they had the Indonesian dancers and that theme. And this is like strikingly similar.
Yeah.
You know, I can see so many different cultures just in the fabric, you know, the fans, the headdresses. That's coming soon too. Another person that she has the head wraps and the baby carriers.
Right.
Tried to get her here today, but she'll be another guest coming soon.
Right.
And you know, I love the. Was this one of your photos?
Yes, I shot the photos in the book. So this is a hardcover coffee table book, and I shot the photos. I wrote the text, and what I did was try to create a situation where you could understand my journey, my struggle, because I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn, right? From the projects out there, Brownsville projects. And a lot of times growing up, I used to see myself doing these things, but I couldn't understand it or understand how. And I was fortunate enough for my grandfather to take me to the Caribbean when I was young, to Barbados, Grenada, Caracou. And I'm like a little kid, but also going to the carnival, you know, on Eastern Parkway, and I started seeing these things and making these connections as a little shorty. And as I'm growing up, I'm like, yo, that's something I would love to do. And I just started creating an opportunity, you know. And once I started creating an opportunity, you know, people help you, right? And it might not be the people that you think or want to help you, because sometimes the people that's close to you don't support because they can't understand your vision, right? Or they want to keep you in a certain space that they're comfortable in, right? So I say you got to break the chains too of some of the people around you. You know, sometimes you got to live out your greatest life, you know, and people that's for you will be there.
Exactly. They will meet you.
Yeah.
You just go.
Just go.
And so tell us about, you did the yoga.
Yes, that was a great experience.
Okay, so I want to know more about that.
Okay, so I'm running around all crazy out here and working with young people and, you know, following my dreams and passion, going to school, and I'm doing all this stuff simultaneously. I was in school and still traveling to 7 countries, and I realized that my energy was going low. I was feeling very anxious, very stressed, and I was trying to figure out a way to cope with my own stress and cope with my own, you know, mental, you know, my mind state, and I didn't want my mind playing tricks on me. So I wanted to deal in yoga and just come up with some variations of breathing and, you know, certain mantras that might work for me. And then I realized there's a thing called comedic yoga, right? It was introduced to me, and I'm like, you know what? This sounds great. Like, what is this? So I was able to be fortunate enough to go to Kemet and become one of the first certified instructors within the group to go to Kemet and become certified as a teacher. Okay. And I went with some wonderful, beautiful people, man, and we were all like bonded, you know, through organization Yoga Skills. Okay. So that was an amazing experience for me, and also taking that journey let me know that I had to bring other people, you know,
I'm ready to go for real.
Yeah, you're gonna go with me. I'm loving that, you know. Yeah, I want people to know that they can go, right? Yeah. And not only that they can go with me, but if they don't go with me, just go. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, you got to save up some money or whatever you got to do, but it's worth it, because when you come back, you're full of a whole new energy. You're full of a whole new perspective, because when you see the people out there hustling like every day, and they don't take no for an example, like they need to eat. They need it, right? Yeah. And you get to see their work ethic. You get to see their drive. And you're like, yo, I'm not doing enough.
Exactly.
You know? And I'm like, yo, I think I'm doing it, you know? And I'm like, I'm not doing enough. I could do more, you know? But it's about measuring and managing my time, right? And also, I don't have to do everything by myself, right? But also, you have to figure out the right people to get involved with and to work with and to share with and to build with and to grow it. So that's what my mission is right now, just bringing light to what I'm doing, but also bringing light to what other people are doing, sharing and helping other people. That's why I love what y'all doing here, you know, like helping each other and bonding and growing and seeing each other succeed and thrive. And that's important, you know. Yes. Everybody can't be sitting in front of the camera, right? But it still take a team to make it happen.
A wonderful team.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people, sometimes they get caught up wanting to be the one sitting in a chair, right? But I just bring this aspect to it. You might get your turn bringing your aspect to it. But the thing is, somebody got to be the one, you know, to position themselves or push the team in a direction. That's you know, right. And everybody just can't be occupying the same space at the same time. It doesn't work, you know. But everybody could get their opportunity, their chance, right? When you bring in your energy and your work to the table. A lot of people just want to sit in a seat, but they don't want to do the work.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Put that work in. Yeah.
Yeah, well, here I have a wonderful team.
Yes,
and we're all producers.
Yeah.
And some of us have started our show. Some people, they just helped me. And I'm just so appreciative of that. Yeah. And, you know, they also have shows. Some people been here longer than me. Yeah. They were like Stella. She was here, one of the early producers when it was BCAT, which I never say because I just know it is. Brooklyn Free Speech, people, not BCAT.
Right.
So, yeah. So tell us about where we can find your book.
Oh, right,
which is wonderful. Because Naturall's also a illustrator. I'm a photographer and a filmmaker.
Yes.
And he takes amazing photographs.
Thank you.
It's a couple included in here.
Yeah.
Towards the back that he happens to be in.
Right.
And you need to get this book.
Yes. So right now I'm doing self-publishing, right? And this is my first book, and I wanted to figure out a way to make it available for anyone that wants it, you know. But I wanted to keep the integrity of the book.
Right.
So I am going to be having hard copy books, and then I'll be doing ebooks, right, where I can do a variation in the price, you know, maybe figuring out a way for people to donate what they can, right? And that way it's available to everyone. And then people that want to have it on their coffee table looking cool, you know what I mean, like representing, and also will help me continue to bring this to the people, then I'll have those available as well. Right now they're going to be on my website, which is naturallangdon.com. Naturallangdon.com. Also, you can find me on, you know, social media under the same name, Naturall Langdon. And yeah, people could be a part of the movement, you know, because fortunately, and I know I'm fortunate to be able to go, but I also wanted to bring it where other people could go with me, you know, have the experience, you know, because everybody can't get on planes. Everybody don't have the resources or the finances, or everybody won't just be bold enough to do it, but you could still go, you know, and you could still support. I wanted to also have a book and other things where people could support without feeling like they're not getting anything. You know, sometimes we ask for, you know, support and money, and people feel like they're just giving you and not getting anything in return. For people that feel like that, well, buy the book. For other people that just want to support and show love, well, you could do that too, you know, and that's the platform I'm standing on right now. Like, whatever way you want to do it, let's do it. Let's just get it done, though, you know?
All right. So, you know, the information, it is naturallangdon.com.
Yes.
And we'll have the information available, posted at the end of the show.
I appreciate that.
And you can always reach out to me by email if you need to know anything, or if you want to book this young man or find out about how to travel with him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to figure out about, like I said, like the yoga. We have the yoga here at Brick, usually Bend and Bloom in Brooklyn, which is wonderful because they do amazing different performers, you know, to yoga. Like, so they have world music, they have Indian, they have violinists, you know, so that's always a good experience, you know. And then they also started with some of the locations, not them, but some other locations, they have the poetry to yoga.
Nice.
So, you know, it's like the artistic view of everything is so connected now that whatever you do, it's like you can do your music now, you can be you can add your poetry, you can add singing to it, you know, so
There's no limits.
Yeah, it's no
Sky's
limits.
the limit, you know?
And it's like we just learned about a new instrument today. I have no idea, but it's so many world instruments. Like, tell us some of the instruments that people played where some of the places you visited.
I mean, look,
I don't know. That were new to you.
I don't know because I'm gonna say this. I mean, because there's so many different things that's introduced to me on a daily basis, and it's so overwhelming to try to remember every aspect or different names of instruments. And also, I really didn't go out there exploring per se instrumentation, but the cool thing about it is that I get to capture it right on video and have other artists talk about their artistry, and you know, so if people are interested, they can go check out some of my work, and they will hear the artist speak about it from the artist's mouth and perspective. Some stuff is in their native language, and I'm working on getting subtitles and getting to where people you know can generally understand everything. And this is part of a whole bigger project where you will see at the end of all of this, all of these countries kind of come together, and we'll have a thread, you know, a theme where you can see how we're connected, you know.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's so many things. I can't even, well, I can't keep up with you. I have been able to.
I appreciate it.
And there's always something else added on, you know. So now you have just in a short period of time, you know, and that's what I just want to say. That's what it's about. It's about living your dream. It's about, like I say, taking that leap and just doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and we have a tabletop book.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm blessed.
Yes.
Yeah,
you are.
I'm so grateful, you know, and I learned too. Before I used to say I'm gonna do it for my children, I'm gonna do it for my mama, I'm gonna do it for this, you know. But you know what?
Your
I'm
life.
doing it for myself right now, right? And then as long as I could do it for myself, then anyone that can share and partake in it, yo, I appreciate it, you know. But I'm no longer making excuses like I'm doing things for other people, right? Because other people have influenced me, and I do want to make people proud of me, and I do want to make people feel my expression in life. But at the end of the day, this is my life.
Exactly.
You know, this
we
is
we all
my
have
life.
one.
Yeah. So
Until next month, I just want to thank you for sharing and being a part of this TV experience with Naturall Langdon and my previous guests, Chandra Barrage and Ronnie Barrage. And I'll be back next month bringing you more of the best of the people that you need to know. In the meantime, do some research and watch out. You never know. You may be the next person sitting in this chair. Thank you.